Welcome back once again to Spirituality with a Spin. I am Ryan Keys, your host. And if you have your headphones or your earbuds handy, please plug those in right now. Why? Because I utilize the ASMR technique from time to time to keep you locked into body, soul, and mind through that cognitive connection between the right and left brain. Because I might be here or I might be over here. But no matter where I'm at, you'll be near. And also, before moving forward, if you have not clicked the subscribe button, please subscribe if you've taken time to follow me or to sit here and to be part of this family. Don't you want to know when we're going to be putting content up? So click subscribe and then the bell by the button so you get a bing in your box to let you know when we're about to go live or when content is being catapulted into your existence. You feel me? Good. Now, for all of those people that think you're going crazy, you just might be. But crazy is the new norm, and I love it, because if normal is what we've been coming from, I don't want any of it. But I will say, all this preaching about problems and lack do lack one thing. I do believe there's many areas in life that have been liberated and are better off and have a much more abundance to them than lack. When we look back in time, I think we have moved forward in many aspects. So just be aware that sometimes what you hear might not be the reality of what you see in your day-to-day. Why? Because I still believe that many people are preaching shame, blame, and fear. Because these are the three techniques that were crowd control for centuries. And as we come to a conscious state of understanding and we become aware in this awakening, this shift that is a culmination of energies, whether it's twin flame, divine partner, divine purpose, whether it is healers, light workers, whether it is people that are empathic, people that are telepathic, people that are engineering a better society for everyone that we see. We are being called. And this call is being answered. So don't let anything fool you into thinking that we are going down a dark hole. Because as you know, as we've said, that dark night of the soul is the best night of your life, because it shows you exactly where you were sinking, so that you know exactly where your strength lies just underneath that to support you and to raise you back up. So love and awakening is a rising into love. And I just did a video on YouTube. If you did not catch that, please go back and listen to it. It was a live on Facebook where I talked about love is alive in all the layers of life. This is very predominant. You see, I have taken on a new role. I have been doing a lot of readings, angel card readings, I Ching readings for people, trying to help them gather the information that is around them in their circumference of their consciousness so that they can understand the dynamic of what they're doing right now and then plan accordingly. We're not predicting the future. We are opening their free choice for the future by showing them what's being projected and affected right now through the experience that they are managing, because they are the human resources manager of their human experience. Now we're going to dive into the topic of light workers, being lonely, and a little bit of the twin flame involvement, because this has been a topic that has been on the minds and hearts and tongues of everyone that I've talked to over the past month. I've been trying to apply different procedures to help you to come from a different perspective and begin to redirect some of the pain involved with that experience to something that will help you to open up your perception and gather momentum for inner work. Because if you are a being that is part of another being and one part is out of balance, then fixing that part is what's going to be wonderful for that experience. So if you do the work on your side, the person will benefit in some form or fashion. It may not be to a union, but it will be to the betterment of both. So when you are a light worker, what does that mean? Does it mean that you're a bookmark in the human being's experience of being the bearer of light? Does it mean that you're alive and your goal for living is to be the carrier of the Promethean fire, building the foundation for everyone that you see? Have you been sent to Earth for a specific mission to help shift the consciousness to a higher level? I think we can agree on one thing. There is a calling. There is a creative process going into it. And there is some type of flame that is being resonated through illumination and enlightening in your experience and the expansion of your experience throughout the world and your surroundings. It will start like a spark within the heart, and then it will bridge into and nurse itself into a blaze, going inner work, outer work, lover, friends, family, community, city, county, state, country, the world. Now, you may have a calling. You may be a role as a teacher, as a service person. You might be a homemaker. You might be a business owner. You could be psychic. You could be an energy healer. You could be doing all kinds of things, whether it is blatant or subtle. But it is going to enter the physical world. And in this physical world, you will begin to have circumstances. You will begin to have synchronicities. 1111 and 333 and 444 will be your friend. And do not feel that you need to extinguish this, even though some of it will be exciting, some of it will be exerting, some of it will be that fire that you wish you could extinguish. Because as you learn to dwell in self-discovery, whether your own or others, whether healing or helping or hurting, this light that will be alive in you and around you is going to cast light on the shadows of all things. Now, a shadow is present in light. When a light casts its shadow, we see a vague outline which has fallen to the wayside, dispersed on the ground, a dark image that is following behind the bright contrast of whatever it is that is cast by. So what you're doing is, as you're learning to accelerate the recombining of this brilliant experience so that you can help people empower themselves, so that the shadow is no longer loose. It's like Peter Pan's shadow when he had to sew it back to his feet because it was up to mischief. You're helping to sew the experience, the expansion back to those people so that they can see things from both sides, so that their weakness, their dark night no longer haunts them like a ghost in the closet. It has become to take form for them, and it is a counterbalance. It has become the yin and the yang. It is a powerful manifestator, as you will become. You will have a gift of sensitive, empathic ability. You will feel. You will function. You will see things, hear things, feel things. Your strength and your ability will be about being vulnerable, but also being present. There are some signs that are in a line with light worker. You feel called. You feel that you need to help heal and to support people. You are extremely sensitive to all things around you, whether it's energy, synergy, whether it is good or bad. You will have the ability to be present in such a way that you will get inclinations, sensations, and information from where? The ether. What is the ether? It is around everything. It is the field which we all function in and with. So if you came to me and you sat down and we said, let's see what's in your field. Let's see what you're working with. What you working with? So I pull the cards, I do the I Ching, I get information because I'm empathic, because I'm using my light working ability to bring your art of being to life, to cast light into the dark, and to liberate that which is already lit. So we say These are going on. Perhaps we get a card which will talk about passion upside down. Perhaps you're neglecting your passion and it's part of the shadow. Now, this isn't your future. Keep in mind, this is functional. It is part of your formality for where you're functioning at this moment, but it is not forever. Because, see, like Prince said, forever is a mighty long time. And I'm here to tell you, there is an afterlife. So don't get too stressed. You can change. The universe changes you all the time, even when you're not looking. So you can do it by choice and emulate the creator, emulate the universe itself. You can control chaos in small bursts of I've got it covered. I just made my own chaotic movement by canceling that agreement, by creating a new one, by looking for a job, by saying thank you, by, like in my case, let's take a deep dive into my doings as an example. I myself have done numerous coachings on breaking through, and I will tell you, no matter how many people I coach, no matter how much Akashic information is transmuted into my experience, no matter how many things that I believe myself to be part of or know, I have never stopped learning, ever. My experience evolves. My self-appreciation and depreciation of experience and expansion continually fluctuates and goes up and down. I get lonely. I get depressed. I get excited. I get inspired. I get disappointed. And then I also use my awakening, my light worker skills of being aware, because one of the qualities is that you're going to be very aware of your own fears and the fears of those around you, that you're going to experience a very strong synchronistic appreciation for life. You're going to see this healing art expand in you and in all things. So part of healing is being there and listening. So when I open my mouth and I say something dumb, when I open my mouth and retort into a past pattern, when I disappoint myself by doing the same thing that I know was wrong in the past, so I present it again for a reboot to see if it's going to be beautiful this time, and guess what? Surprise, surprise, it wasn't. What do? Now I have become aware in a way that I can quickly catch myself and stop and do my 3, 2, 1. 3, me, 2, we, 1, 1. Us. And I say, I just stuck my foot in my mouth in a spiritual plane. Did you see that? And the other person might say, well, shit, I did see that. I felt it. I heard it. I saw it. I didn't want to say anything, but I did see your laces going just past your ears as the foot went into your mouth. Dysfunction? No. Function. Because I'm moving forward. I'm able to catch myself because I'm utilizing my light working skills in a liberated way where it's alive in me as it can be alive in you. To allow it to inhabit everything, in all things, even in information that I'm processing, putting forth, and receiving. So I say to myself in this experience, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this is deeper than just you and me. This goes back to my abandonment issues. Because my father died when I was 21. Woe is me, I'm not using it as an excuse, but that is where the pattern originated with the anger. The seed was planted, the soil was nurtured, and the solution was to let it grow. So I reaped a harvest of confusion. And then because, as the beautiful ways they say, there's you that you know, there's you that they know, there's you that you don't know. So the you that I don't know too well took up shop, nurtured that little joker, made that seed so sweet that it slipped under the radar and has been masked in other people's difficulties and dysfunctions that I will point out instead of pointing out to myself. Because when you point your finger, 4 are pointing back at you. So at this point now in my game, I'm able to see the 4 dysfunctional fingers pointing back at myself even as I point and open my big mouth. I'm like, oh, shit. That's right. I see them. Oh, my God. So I was able to catch myself. Maybe too late, maybe not too late. But it was there. It's alive. All I can do is liberate myself and live this light-working love and make it known and apologize. Not that I'm apologizing to reap expectation or to believe in that apology is an acceptable idea or that it will get an acknowledgement or an accolade because I apologized. I apologize to myself as well for not seeing my truth and how I planted a seed unbeknownst to me and allowed it to take root and to rise up behind the radar and create this disconnect for me. So if I'm doing that, I know that you're doing that, and I know that we're not alone in that. And I do think that at the key core of all these things that are going on right now with awakening, ascension, twin flame, with divine partner, divine purpose, and all these different aspects, I do think that we are functioning in this way. Because we're being called, we're getting a lot of information, we're getting a lot of alignment issues. And alignment starts with seeing yourself. And if you are aligned and awakened in a party of one, because everyone around you is still hitting snooze, it's kind of like wrestling to get out of bed. Imagine, let's compare awakening to when you do wake up. Alarm goes off. Oh, jeez. Oh, I wish it's so warm. It's so nice. I could stay in this bed. I could sleep. Your eyes close. And then snooze goes off. 5 minutes later, you're like, okay, I'm getting up. But even when you get up, you get in the shower, the warm water hits you, it hits your hair, hits your face, and you're like, oh my God, this feels so good. I could fall asleep in the shower. There will be even a place, when you go to sit in your car and start it, you'll think, yeah, I could be so sick right now. So there is a process to awakening, and this awakening is both weighty and wonderful in the course of becoming your light-bodied self in the clay body. So you're here to help heal the planet. Your experiences help to heal the planet. So the twin flame functionality isn't just about twin flames coming together and making like bunnies. It's also about the journey, the communal journey, the jive, the journey, the you and me, the we, the everybody getting down, getting together, feeling the function, being part of this bigger movement with less friction, being here to help heal the planet, to help all those that inhabit it. That's also one of the bigger pictures, one of the bigger things, one of the more intricate things. And we all have these similarities where we have a trouble finding this traditional style job or place where we feel that this structure doesn't soothe us, where we have this deep reverence for everything and manifesting and sensibility and animals, and on the converse, we feel the pain when we see it, when we sense it not going the right way in our mind. But remember, when you go out of duality and up the mountain, there is no right or wrong. There's only is or that. But at this moment in our development, in this stage, duality is very present in our lives, so that's where we're functioning, and that's okay. So the conversation in a dualistic state is about ebb and flow, about healing, about not just healing others, but taking the time out to heal yourself. You see, because you're good-hearted, you have empathy, you have a natural sensitivity, but you might be a tad bit idealistic and naive, as myself. So that will make us insufficiently grounded for the goodness of ourself. So we spend so much time setting placemats in places of sustenance for everyone we see but ourselves. So the outlook for our open-ended work that doesn't also involve working for ourselves is very short, a very short-lived one. If we don't look out for ourselves, we're going to wind up in a hole ourselves, experiencing a dark night. And this is some of the ways you can deal with this switch, is to be gentle with yourself for sure. Remember, you're just opening your eyes. You're just climbing out of bed. You've been asleep for a while. It's that first morning where you need to stretch. You need to feel your body. You need to move into it. You need to feel everything about what you're doing. You're not completely in tune with the instrument yet. Because the instrument that you were before the awakening is no longer the same one. You are something different. You are activated. You are, by all rights, active in mind, body, and soul. So, nourish yourself. Sense your needs. Get grounded. Eat right. Look at nature. Do cleansing. Mind, body, and soul, embracing change, understanding that you are now an agent of change. Don't get anxious. Don't get overwhelmed. Try to keep expectations to a minimum. And when you're meditating, let's go to a mindful space of not complacency or trying to erase everything and going to a void. That's the one part of Buddhism that I didn't really like, that everything ended in nothing. Yes, that's higher up the mountain into consciousness, but there's a place in consciousness when you get there, functioning in the world is going to be quite impossible. So I'm in the world and I really want to enjoy the world around me. I really want to enjoy the connections around me. I really want to resonate at a radio frequency that will be fun for me in this life. I'm here to embrace my three-dimensional being with a five-dimensional, sixth-dimensional perspective, and to make it a beautiful perspective. So I'm going to embrace that, but I'm going to try to limit the pressure behind it. And then what I'm going to begin to do then is understand that being in this aspect can be a little bit lonely. You might be feeling lonely right now. You might be feeling that you've been placed in a hostile environment, that everything around you is based on materialism and hatred, and that it's evolved into an experience that is hard to see yourself aligned with anything. Everyone seems angry, but remember, you are here, and that changes things. That even though it's difficult in certain situations, you are a pioneer. You are an intense, beautiful center of source. And what you're bringing to the masses is spiritual maturity. So in order to express spiritual maturity, we have to begin to operate and function as ourself. So many of you, which are in a situation where you're not seen, or you hide your new spiritual awakening or these gifts or these feelings you're having because people around you don't see you, they choose not to, they live in the shame, blame, and fear. That's tough. But don't suppress yourself. Don't dial your goddess or your god down because somebody can't see possibility. Because they're living in an old paradigm. Don't allow them to push you around. That's part of the loneliness, is you're not liberating yourself. All the beautiful gifts, all these levels of chakra that are elevating your Kundalini-style awakening is not necessarily going to be supported by the masses of energy that are here, but universal source energy. You are not alone. It may seem that way, but you are on a different, very perfectly imperfect, simple plan that is about helping, healing, and hearing. You are in a unique position. You're going to be guided by light. You're going to be reminded about salvation and service. You're reframing light itself. Sometimes you'll need to spend time alone because the weight of the world will wash over you at times. But you have signed up for this, so take pride. Your soul has seen the strength in you, and it has seen the struggle that you've been through, and it knows that this is a beautiful expansion of your past experience. Once you begin to honor this and no longer ignore it, and see it as the higher choice, the high road, then natural productivity will begin to prosper in you. You will understand that suppressing this very serious side of you creates loneliness. Reach out. Begin to let your unique voice develop and to shine. What you're feeling is part of a bigger whole. There's a few things that you can do, and we'll jump into those to overcome this loneliness. One is really get a good perspective of the who, the what, the where, and the why. As I said in a quote that I put on Instagram, I am a raging ocean trapped inside of a raindrop. And that's probably how you feel right now. You have this universal change that can't be calculated. It can't be measured in a quantitative fashion because it is potential incarnate. And this is your new place. So begin to decorate it. Begin to don a new coat. Begin to see the course that you are undertaking in miracles and shifting everything. You are a pioneer, a pilgrim into the present. Animals will help, operating from a different point of view. When you go into meditation, create space that is actually based on past that was positive. Maybe it was a wedding, maybe it was a dance, maybe it was your brother's graduation, maybe it was you won an award, something that occurred in the past that really made you feel like you were set apart, that was so positive, it was such a passionate moment. Recreate that in your mindful meditation. Give yourself support because your body's looking for anything to believe in this. Your body is feeling disenfranchised because the soul is so present, the body is not quite sure what's happening. So it's trying to realign, and this is where spending time in nature will help you with the spiritual growth. It will help you to understand the connection and then begin to recognize, empathize, and actualize the light in others. Even if you see someone that is not measuring up to the potential that you would estimate that they could, go with what you see. Like if I see someone, I will always look for their light body, no matter how dim they're doing it, no matter how many nights they've been in the dark night. I will look for their light. I will look for even the lowest level of light in their spiritual being and begin to mantra that, focus on it, to send it energy. Develop routines. Remember, routine is righteousness because it keeps you on the right path. It allows you to take what you might normally fixate on that would be lost or lonely into the purpose and to change the perspective. And remember, you're not here to change the world. You're here to be the world. Yes? You're not here to change the world. You're here to be the world. The world will change as you become it. The world will emulate and come into alignment with the new elevated energy that you are going to allow. So when you operate in love, when you walk arm in arm with love, when you look for love, when you honor the light and even the lowest level that it's lit, honoring even just the spark in someone's spiritual life, seek it out. Serve it. Surrender to your own light. Seek out like-minded people and then dive in. Enjoy. Don't live as a martyr. Live as a manifester. And this is how, brothers and sisters, beautiful family, co-creators, we will, in the words of Captain Kirk, all right, Mr. Sulu, engage. I always wanted to say that. I'm such a sci-fi geek. We're going to continue this level of conversation Peace, light, and love. I will see you on the other side.